Well, welcome everybody to today's very special event. I'm Professor Grant MacArthur, the new Executive Director for the Victorian Comprehensive Cancer Centre, and special welcome to the Steer North Group and the family of Mike Helal, who has inspired us to be here today. So I just want to make a few introductory remarks about what we're here to announce, and in short, that is real hope for our future endeavours in fighting cancer. So we're in the Victorian Comprehensive Cancer Centre building, and what occurs in this building is care of cancer patients by the Peter Mac, the Royal Melbourne Hospital and the Royal Women's Hospital. But this building is a lot more. Very, very importantly for today's announcement, there's a lot of cancer research that happens in this building. So as well as those three partners, Peter Mac has a very substantial laboratory research activity, and we house a substantial proportion of the University of Melbourne's cancer research activities in this building. So it's all about research, and that research is all about patients, and that's what this building is. But in fact, the Victorian Comprehensive Cancer Centre is actually a lot more than just those partners that are in the building here that I've mentioned. It truly is a Victorian entity. We have Western Hospital, the Austin Hospital affiliated with the Olivia Newton-John Cancer Research Institute, and St Vincent's Hospital affiliated with St Vincent's Institute, as well as, right down the road, here in this precinct, Royal Children's Hospital, and the Murdoch Children's Cancer Research Institute, and also in this precinct is the Walter and Eliza Hall Institute. So put all that together, I mean, this is an absolute powerhouse of cancer research and high quality clinical care in Victoria. And what I'm really excited about today, and to pay recognition to the wonderful efforts of Steer North, is the announcement of a new postgraduate cancer research scholarship. You know, I was just saying to James and Mike's family outside that if I were to choose one area of investment personally myself to make a difference, it is in up-and-coming talent in research. And this scholarship through the University of Melbourne, which is our training higher degree research partner in the VCCC Alliance, is really going to enable a really bright young mind to focus on cancer and build a career in cancer research. And this is what really excites me. You know, I often say in my job as a cancer leader and cancer researcher that I have two favourite things that I do every week. One is meeting with my PhD students. I love bright young minds, and that will be empowered, James, by this scholarship. And I also love my time with patients, because that's what really it's all about and what we're trying to do in cancer research. So before I hand over to James to make some introductory remarks, I have to make a little confession, and that is that like the wonderful people that took part in this epic fundraising effort in cycling, I'm also a passionate cyclist. So far this year I've averaged over 300 kilometres a week on the bike, and but I feel really humbled, James, because you know I've been focusing on an event next weekend in Victoria, which is the so-called Peaks Challenge Falls Creek, which is a very small ride. It's only 235 kilometres in one day, and that is just to me dwarfed by what you and the rest of the remarkable people that made it all the way from Melbourne to Cairns. So I'm in awe, and just thank you so much on behalf of cancer patients for what you're doing for the future of cancer research and for patients in Victoria and beyond. So thank you, James. And what now I'd like to do is introduce James, who is a CEO of Steer North, to share some words with us before showing us the magnificent documentary that's been prepared. Thank you, James.
Before I begin, we did some research and we found out that Grant was actually a cyclist before we got here. And we asked the team to sign a jersey, and we'd like to present you with this jersey. It's just the 20 riders that took part in the ride. And we want to congratulate you for your recent appointment as Executive Director of the BCCC. We wish you all the best. So thank you. Okay, thank you, Grant, for that wonderful introduction. My name is James Helal, the founder and executive director of Steer North, which is a health promotion charity that we founded about 2 years ago. So I'm very honored to be here today to share with you Steer North's story from the moment we founded to today, when we formally announced the scholarship that we worked so hard to raise the funds for. But before I begin talking about that journey, we have a 5-minute short documentary that I'd like to show you, and hopefully that will give you a sense of what we were trying to do today.
We had 14 months to get ready for losing Mike. Although nothing gets you ready for it. It's the best brother anyone can have. Rita and I decided to just do something positive. Exactly a month after Mike passed away, we had registered an organization and we were ready to do this. And the next chapter after that was getting people on board.
The riders are very diverse, so everyone comes from different background, had different skills, are in it for different reasons. But just to see this group of people come together and work towards a common goal, I think that's been really nice to witness.
We wake up at 5:30. We pack our sleeping bags, our sleeping mats, our bags. We put them in the trailer. We get breakfast. And at 7 we gather around and we talk about the day ahead, the weather conditions, the hazards that we'll likely face. And then we finish it off with a live dedication where every person talks about why they're riding today. And that becomes a shared ride dedication where people are riding other people's ride dedication. And then we set off. And then we get to the destination, we interact with our hosts. Often we have an event which we attend and we try to spread our message of promoting healthy and active living. And then we have a small team meeting where we reflect on the day. And then we sleep and we do it again for 44 more times.
The one thing that's definitely exceeded our expectations is just the response of the community so far. Just extremely supportive, extremely generous. They're very welcoming, and they're just interacting with us. I feel like barriers are just broken when you tell them what we're doing, and people are opening up and sharing their stories. So far, we have raised more than $100,000, which is also a big thing for us for the first year. It's going to impactful projects at the Victorian Comprehensive Cancer Center. Part of those $100,000 are going towards establishing a Steer North scholarship that will give a PhD students the funds to do research in rare cancer.
It makes me feel like I have a purpose in this world. And when we first started Steer North, we were desperate to find that purpose, that meaning, at a time when it was very difficult to see one. The way I see Steer North's story is having like 3 chapters. And the first is about meeting Rita, and the second is about my late brother Mike, and the third is about this community that we're forming.
So that documentary was filmed over 6 days when we were between Sydney and Port Macquarie. But there's a lot more to Steer North's story, and at the end of that documentary, you probably heard me saying that see Steer North's story as one having 3 chapters. Meeting Rita, who's with us today. Sorry. The other one was about losing my brother Mike. And the third is about the community that we were forming and the right that we were doing. So I'd like to spend a bit of time talking about that story and then finishing it off with some of our future plans. So it's very difficult talking about Steer North's story without talking about Rita's story. And in 2012, I was an exchange student in the US at the University of Texas at Austin. And I met Rita over there, and we quickly became friends. But a couple of weeks after that, I learned that she signed up to another epic journey, which was cycling for 70 days over 8,000 kilometers from Austin, Texas to Anchorage, Alaska. And it was to raise funds for the MD Anderson Cancer Center in Houston, Texas. So I got to see Rita go through that process of preparing for the ride and developing her skills and building on her teamwork abilities. And I really got to see how much impact that was having on her. And then shortly after that, I returned back to Melbourne. And upon my return, we learned about my brother Mike being diagnosed with stage 4 Ewing sarcoma, which sure a lot of you here are familiar with it, but for those who aren't, it's a very rare and aggressive form of bone cancer. And for the next 14 months after that, it was a very difficult journey for Mike, but he wasn't showing it. He lived his life quite fully, and throughout the treatment, he would schedule his chemotherapy sessions so that he could make the most out of the time in between, and even traveling to Brazil to watch the World Cup final over there. While that may have been a bit detrimental to his treatment, he just really wanted to take everything he could have. But sadly, on the 19th of February 2015, Mike lost his battle to cancer. And he was my only brother, and a mentor and best friend. And following that, it was a very difficult time for us. And often when I talk about Steer North and I'm asked to talk about it, I just go into autopilot mode and just talk about the story. But today, in the presence of Dr. Jayesh, who was Mike's doctor, and with us being in this facility, it's very difficult. So after Mike passed away, really, Rita and I wanted to do something. We didn't quite know what we wanted to do, but we drew on Rita's previous experience. And we saw how powerful that was, and we saw how meaningful it was for cancer patients, because whenever I would speak to Mike about what Rita was doing, he would just get the biggest smile. And it really meant a lot to him that someone on the other side of the world was cycling across the continent, and at every stop, Rita would take a sign and she would write on it for Mike. So it was very special. And we thought, well, what if we do something similar, but over here in Australia? And what if we broaden the umbrella so that it's not just about cancer awareness, but it's about the awareness of physical activity and healthy lifestyle choices. And that way, we can go on this epic journey, and in every community we go to, we promote the benefits of physical activity, and we try to encourage people there to take up cycling or any other form of physical activity as a way to prevent cancer and other non-communicable diseases. And so when we put those two ideas together, we thought, okay, we have something. And exactly a month, as you would have heard me say, we had registered Steer North, and we started looking for people to join us on this journey. And so Rita and I shot a small video similar to this with some nice drone shots, and we put it up on social media, and we went around universities and trying to recruit people to sign up to this program. It wasn't just about the ride, but it was about building a community. And we would meet up every Monday night at the Alice Floyd building just across the road in the University of Melbourne to plan every aspect of the ride. So we got the team not only to take part in the event, but to actually organize every aspect of the event. And we got to a team of about 20 people. And for 18 months, we were fundraising, we were holding events, trivia nights, and salsa nights, and any sort of movie night, just to raise a bit of funds so that all of us can meet our fundraising goal, which was $5,000 for the ride. And on December 3rd, it was time for us to go on this journey. And I've got just some pictures along the way. Anytime someone asks me, how was the ride, because we just recently got back, I struggle for words. I always say, I wish I had some pictures to show. So I've got the set of pictures here. So this was just day one from Melbourne to Seymour. It was a very exciting time for us. We had 44 days of cycling ahead of us, and we had no idea what to expect. It was the first time we do something like that. So you might see smiles there, but really we were scared. Also coming ahead. And we were staying and sleeping in pretty much any place that offered us accommodation. So for 18 months we were calling up schools, football clubs, netball clubs, council halls, any place that would just give us a room so that we could lay down our sleeping bags and sleep for the night. So that was actually the night of day one in the Seymour Football Club. Following that, so it was the first big segment of the ride was from Melbourne to Canberra. That was, I think, from Wangaratta to Albury. You can see smiles. But my favorite part of the ride was interacting with people and trying to promote our message of physical activity. So this was Nangus Public School in New South Wales. We're just over a lunch. We stopped in the school, and we were meeting the kids in waves, telling them about our journey, and really trying to get them to get on their bikes and to get physically active. So that was really nice. And we got to Canberra, which was, I think, our first major highlight and the first sense of achievement. I think, and that jumping shot was one that we would take in every place. And every 25 kilometers along the way, we would have these sorts of rest stops. There we would pull out our sort of tables, our sunscreens, our isotonic powder, and then we would have a bit of a break. And we would be supported by our support crew, who are actually made up of the riders, and we would have a rotation system. Every day some people would drive the support vehicles. And it wasn't all great weather, although it was done in the summer. We got some very wet days, and this was us, I think, riding into Sydney through Kings National Park, and it's just the wettest day we've ever ridden in. And that's actually my gloves that I'm trying to get some water out of it before we keep going. But those sort of days were the most memorable ones, where those bonds between the team really strengthened and built, I think, for the rest of our lives. So when I look back at that difficult day, I think that's one of the highlights of the ride. And again, we got to Sydney. That feeling crossing over the Sydney Harbour Bridge was, I don't think I got that feeling even when I got to Cairns. It was a very iconic moment. And we were still fresh. We weren't really exhausted and looking forward to the end by then. And when we didn't have any community halls or schools that opened up their gyms, we would just pitch our tents in the showgrounds or anywhere in town. They would let us do that. But obviously, we would give them a lot of notice and we would get permission. That was in Bulahdelah, the self-proclaimed friendliest town in the world, and really it was just that. And some of the views we got on the way was incredible. That's far up in Queensland, I think in Cardwell, where we stopped by a rest stop and thought, this is a screensaver, it's not real life. It's just incredible the views that we got. That's Marcus, who's sitting right here. And so Rita and Marcus took the ride with us. We were hoping to get a bit more riders, but with their work commitments, and we just got that Marcus. But the sense of achievement that I think all of us got from this is something that we'll take on for the rest of our lives. And I know for myself, approaching difficult tasks in the future, if I just think, well, I cycled from Melbourne to Cairns, I can probably do this. And again, the interaction that we had with communities hosting our health promotion events were by far my favorite part of the ride. This was in Townsville. We held a physical activity night with Townsville Gymnastics. And we handed out 100 kids that were running around, and we were asking them to do different things. And this is just a picture of the jumping rope. But one of my favorite pictures along the ride. It shows how we were interacting with people and how we were trying to promote physical activity. That's another really good one. And that last day, cycling from Innisfail to Cairns, was the weirdest day, I think, on the ride. Sorry, that's okay. Sorry. Was just filled with mixed emotions. People were laughing and crying at the same time, looking forward to the end, but not wanting it to finish. So it was a very special day. And finally, the celebrations at the finish line was quite special. And that was just on the 16th of January this year, so 2 months ago. But so basically what we wanted to achieve was to promote physical activity and healthy lifestyle choices, but also the building of our community. And I feel like today is the start of a new chapter. It's a chapter of growth and of doing what we do, but on a larger scale, to try to support more of the projects that this building is based on. And this year we raised $100,000, and I'm very glad that we just established the Sierra North Postgraduate PhD Cancer Research Scholarship. So we'd love to keep doing this, and we'd love to grow and support more projects. So for this year, we have a couple of events lined up where we'll be doing this on an annual basis, the Melbourne to Cairns Ride. And we're quite convinced that this should be done on an annual basis, because for our message to be sustainable, for our impact to be sustainable, we need constant contact with those communities. And if we were just to show up for one day during for the year, and just say this is what we'd like you to do, then I don't think that would have much impact. We need to sustain our relationships with those communities. And this year we're hoping to get a team of people made up from all of the towns that we pass through, and we could establish them as health community champions, where they could be the ones promoting physical activity throughout the years, and they could be examples for their communities to look up to. And we've got a couple of smaller rides there just for people. We got so many comments over the past year, people saying, I'd love to join, but I can't take 45 days off of work. So hopefully this captures a bit of those people, just 10 and 11 day rides. where we can do the same thing, go to every community, promote physical activity while also listening to cancer research. So that's the back of this. And that's pretty much I thought that he does. And I just thought I'd share that story with you. And it's really exciting for us to be at this chapter now where we've done something to show, but now we can focus on growth and continuing to support the future. So thank you very much.
So good afternoon, everyone. So my name is Jayesh Desai. I'm a medical oncologist here at Peter Mac, and I had the privilege of actually being involved with Mike's care. I met Mike in December 2013 when he was first diagnosed with Ewing sarcoma, as James had said, and unfortunately at the time he was diagnosed he had disease and had already become quite widespread. But I still remember meeting Mike and Lama, his wife, who, were highly intelligent, vibrant, young people who had the whole world to look forward to, as you might expect. And, here they were facing something that I don't think any of us could actually ever contemplate having to face ourselves. But somehow over the next 14 months, and I think James very poignantly said, and it probably didn't really occur to me until he said that really they'd spent that time that he had preparing for not just what was going to happen to Mike, but thinking actually well beyond that, because that really was what Mike was about. He was very much around thinking forward and trying to make the most of whatever it was that was placed in front of him. So, for example, during his treatment, and he had a lot of treatment over that time to try and keep his disease under control, him and Lama had managed to get to the World Cup in Brazil. And it was something that I think our whole team sort of managed to live the World Cup experience through them actually getting to Brazil and coming back. And they had a wonderful time there, despite the fact that Brazil lost the World Cup finally, which upset them dearly. And they also managed to get home as well and see their respective families for what was an important trip, but I think a difficult one, as you might imagine, given the circumstances. And finally, in Mike's last few days, he was actually awarded his PhD. So he actually finished his PhD over the course of that year and managed to actually be awarded his PhD. The faculty had actually come home to present him with that, which I think says a lot about Mike as well. I think it's difficult, having seen what we've seen, to not be saddened, but in fact obviously be uplifted by what this has actually inspired so many others to do now. And I really would like to congratulate James and Rita and the Steer North team in being able to take this forward in such a positive way. I can only imagine, how Mike would feel in terms of, what really has become his legacy now, in being able to not just further research, but teaching as well, and do that through Melbourne University, which for him was so important. And finally, I'd just like to thank James and Rita, and in particular your parents who are here today. It is wonderful to see you again, even given the circumstances. And as I said, I really would like to see this as an uplifting moment for us all, I think, more than anything else. So congratulations, and we'll look forward to joining in the ride with you.